What is going on, everyone? Welcome to episode 142 of Littleroot Lessons. As always, I'm your host, Carter Noble, joined by our fantastic co-host, Carl Wilkin. Sup, dude?
I beat the game.
I have not. I've played an hour.
I've played for 25.
So, without going into detail, I had my Friday, I had a lot of things that happened very quickly that needed to get taken care of. And so I was not able to play nearly what I wanted to. And instead, I spent most of my time on Showdown instead.
Yeah,
so...
you went and took the VGC route and dove into that. So we have some kind of like idea teams to talk about here in a little bit.
Yeah.
After we talk about the game, I just played the entire game. I have it. It's all on YouTube, and go watch that if you want to go see what I did.
The unfortunate part about this is we're not getting access to like VGC rules until most likely December. So I've just been playing in like doubles OU, which has been honestly fine. It's 6v6 doubles instead of 4. Bring 6, pick 4. Which obviously there is a difference in those because you're just like, well, I have access to my entire team as opposed to just 4 Pokemon. But like, it's still just a good thing of just like trying to practice leads and everything of just like, all right,
learning the pairings, learning how things work, synergies, and all that stuff.
So I'm going to be very upfront. There are a lot of the new Pokemon that I just do not know what their names are, but I can be like, oh yeah, the stupid whale thing.
The Donzo.
I was actually talking about Titan, but yes.
Titan, Donzo, they're all in that category.
Yeah, so there's a lot of them that I just don't know what their name is.
I can help with that. I've seen most of them.
I can kind of tell you what they do, because I've spent a non-zero amount of time working on this the last couple days. And there's still quite a few. I'm just like, I've never seen this Pokemon before. I don't know what this is.
Yeah, there's a lot to figure out still, VGC wise, and we got time for that. But
so we're gonna be talking about like your playthrough, your thoughts on the overall game. Probably dive into a non-zero amount of these teams that I've shared with you.
Yeah.
And probably like this week for content, we're gonna return to laddering just for like for now. I'm gonna be playing on the like doubles
Showdown
OU ladder.
Yeah. Which we only have to do that for a week or two because we get a ladder in December. So
couple weeks at most. So, and honestly, I'm pretty fine with it. I've had a lot of fun playing this so far in the few games I've played, but yeah, it's been fun.
Yeah. I really enjoyed the game overall. Graphical issues aside, I think this game is great. It did a very good job of having that open world feeling and not really overwhelming the player a lot of the times, which was really, really good. I only had 2 big issues, like graphics wise. I got stuck in an infinite fall animation twice.
Well, that's unfortunate.
It was in the same exact spot. I was trying to get an item, and I managed to somehow hit this one spot where it goes from the one cliff face to the rock side, and I guess there's not an object layer there, and so when you hit that, it thinks you're falling. And so you go into falling animation, but you're not really falling. You're just like standing there kind of hovering because there's objects around you that are holding you up. But but that one spot where I touched, there's no ground. So it thinks you're just infinitely falling, but you can't move while you're falling. So you just fall forever. And then eventually the game's like, "Oh, you just fell for infinite ways. Well, you're gonna fall infinitely. We're gonna put you right back where you were." Which is the mechanic for when you fall down and you want to go back up, you hit the Y button and it teleports you back up to where you were. And that's really the same mechanic.
Oh. Okay.
And that's really the only big issue I've had. There were some spots where it tried to lag a little bit, outside of like there were some cutscenes that really wanted to lag. When I did the last of the Titans quest, the last Titan fight, it lagged really, really hard there for a little bit because there's just so many Pokemon in the background of that fight because you're in the lake. In my case, I was in the lake, and so there's Pokemon everywhere. And it just slowed the game down to almost a crawl. And then it started raining and it made it worse. And then the rain went away and it got better. I was like, okay, this is fine. But overall, the game experience is great. The story is fantastic. Compared to most Pokemon games, this story is much deeper, much more improved. You could actually say you played Pokemon for the story, I think, for this game. That was a big selling point for me. There's a lot of very like good emotional scenes. They did a very good job of kind of just like getting you sucked into the game, even though it is kind of just open world, do your own thing.
Mm-hmm.
I managed to do all the Titans and complete about half the Pokedex in about 11 to 12 hours. And then this is like hours. I'm going on hour like 12 or 13 sitting in front of the computer today because I streamed from 8 a.m. on Sunday. This is Sunday we're recording. I streamed from 8 a.m. to about 6:30 p.m.
You know, just a little bit.
Just a casual 10.5 hour stream to finish the game.
So the other part of this is I work every weekend, right?
Yeah.
So my Saturday, I used to have help on Saturdays, and the old man who was helping me retired. So I've been doing what used to take us, 10 hours. He would help me at my first store where I have a huge truck every day. And so we went from having two of us work it to just me. So my 10-hour day is now about 13 or 14.
Yeah.
So my day yesterday was wake up at 4, be out of the door by 5, walk in at 8 o'clock last night.
Goodness.
Go to bed. So yeah, I did not play any yesterday, and then I've been home for
a few
hour, about an hour and a half, maybe. But yeah, it's been.
I will say, being able to kind of pick and choose your own adventure was nice. Make badge number count from any badge number count towards item progression, please. I beg you. I did the entire Titans quest with base items. I didn't have access to super potions, max potions, none of that stuff. I'm catching everything with Pokeballs or the random stuff I find on the ground.
That sounds awful.
It was harder than you could ever imagine. Not to mention the gym badges, the way they work, the way they gatekeep you from catching level 50s and just running through the game. They make level 50 Pokemon much harder to catch. You have to get the gym badges in order to catch higher level Pokemon more successfully. You can still catch those higher level Pokemon, but it's going to cost you more in time, energy, and money than it would with the badges.
And on top of that, they don't obey you, right?
So they will depend. It determines what level you caught them at. Will determine how they obey you.
Okay, that's new, right?
Because okay. My Gumi that I had evolved into Sliggoo was 30, almost level 30, and was listening to me no problem. But my Citadel I caught at 36 wouldn't listen to me until I got the subsequent badges.
Interesting.
So it matters what level you catch them at.
That's really interesting.
Yeah. That's the That's the way I experienced the mechanic anyway. It might be different, but that's how I experienced that mechanic. Was my Gumi and my starter and everybody listened to me all the way up. But the minute I go and start catching higher level stuff, they stop listening to me.
Okay. I mean, that seems balanced.
Yeah, it's
as opposed to Let's go catch us a level 50 immediately.
So
I wonder, have you watched any of the speedruns yet?
No, I don't know if anyone's actually has a route 100% planned out yet.
I know Etiquette has been running it the last couple days. I don't know how far he is on a route or anything, but yeah. I know he has been.
I know they've been like routing it currently, but the route, I will guarantee you, this game is going to be one of the longest Pokemon games to finish. Any percent. Because to get to the credits, you have to do all 3 storylines.
Oh no.
Yeah. There's no run to... There will be categories for End of Titan, End of Star, End of Champions, Victory Road. Those will be their own separate categories. But any percent, which is to get to the end of the game, to get to the credits, is going to be probably 5 to 6 hours.
It looks like Etiquette is currently in the E4, and he is at just under 5 hours on this run.
Yeah. There's still, at minimum, another hour to go.
What do you mean?
There are 4 lines in the game, not 3. When you finish the 3, you get a 4th. And you have to finish the 4th to end the game, to get the credits to roll. That will be the end of the main story.
Yeah, his split here is titled Victory Road and then The Way Home.
Yep.
And I don't know what that means.
The Way Home is the last quest. The Way Home is Area 0.
He also has a level 82 Lucario, and I'm very concerned. What?
You get enough experience, that makes sense.
Sure. I'll take your word for it.
You get enough experience where that makes sense.
Huh.
I'd have to see how he runs it, like where he gets it at and what he start with. But you get enough experience, solo experience in the game if you do everything right, that you can have a level 70, 80 Pokemon by the time everything's all done.
There's an Elite Four member whose name is Larry.
Yeah. Fun fact. Spoilers for the story. Larry's also a gym leader. Larry is both a gym leader and an Elite Four member in the game. When I saw Larry, I was just ecstatic because I was like, "Oh my God, Larry's back!"
I love Larry.
Larry is the most average, normal business guy you could ever see.
I would die for Larry.
You'll love his gym. The challenge is awesome. The game, like I said, the story for the game, it's probably going to be, I think, an optimized run when they figure out how to do it would probably be 5-ish hours, 5.5. It's really hard to it's not like normal Pokemon speedruns where you would take your starter and just go and then swap before the end to do whatever. You probably want to swap fairly early, I feel like.
Oh, there's no set mode on this game, is there?
Not that I found.
That's annoying.
Yeah.
Huh. Why would they take that away?
I don't know.
Like, dude, that has been a critical part of the game since Gen 1.
Yeah.
So I just don't know why they would take that away.
I don't know.
Okay.
The game itself is still really good. I think, like, graphical errors aside, I've seen the people on Twitter complaining about how they clip and do all this stuff and the game lags, and it's an open world game with a million sprites spawning in it all the time. They could have either had us given us this game, or we would have had a bunch of sub areas in an open world game with a bunch of loading screens. Right? Like, those are the options. I think I would rather have the one we have rather than having to load a new area every couple minutes.
I mean, that was like my big complaint about, like, Black and White specifically. It's just like, All right, well, you need to walk through this gate, and now you need to walk through this other side of the gate, and now you're in a town. Oh, and if you go in any building, there's another load screen. Oh,
Yeah.
look at that, you're back out in the gate.
Yeah. Like there's I think I counted 3 total main load screens in the game. Inside Mesagoza, which is the big school town. It's the central
Yes,
town.
I've made it that far.
There's the load screen to go into there. There's the load screen to go into the school, because the school is its own separate room. And then there's one other cutscene, like one other loading scene. You have to wait for the elevator in one of the towns to come down to pick you up. That is the only other time I think the game screen goes to black that it's not loading an actual cutscene, like a full cinematographic cutscene.
It's kind of funny.
They did a fantastic job, I think, with what tools they had. The wild area is nothing compared to the size of this game. Like, I could run around the wild area an infinite number of times in the time it took me to probably play the first part of Scarlet and Violet, just catching the Pokemon I saw, exploring for the items. That south area, Providence 1, you just get access to is already bigger than most of the wild area.
Yeah, full agree.
Like,
it's massive.
I just can't stop praising this game. I know people are going to hate on this game forever because of the way it got started, but this game is... I think this game is one of the best Pokemon games they've made, like, story-wise, mechanic-wise. I'm excited for the VGC part of it. There's a lot of new Pokemon and a lot of new abilities and a lot of new just, like, mechanics and things like that, which we'll talk about those probably here in a couple minutes.
Yeah, we'll get into it here shortly for sure.
Like, there is so much to enjoy about this game, and I tried to cram it all in the 3-day weekend, and I wish I had more time, because the further along I got, once I got through the Titan's quest, I'm like, well, I need to speed run these other 2 quest lines in order to complete the game before I go back to work on Monday. And I have Sunday to do it. If I don't get it done now, I'm not going to get it done this week, because I'm working every day except for probably Thanksgiving. And so I kind of just speed run through the game. I missed a lot of new Pokemon. I saw them, but I didn't go and catch them like I had been doing. Thankfully, I had completely explored the map, so going and flying to these towns saved me a lot of trouble.
Mm-hmm.
I could just fly to whatever town I needed to go do the gym, do the challenge, whatever, blah, blah, blah. Which, now that I'm in the post-game, I get to run the gauntlet again. So that'll be fun. We'll figure that out later. Probably not going to stream that part, because it's literally just running the gauntlet again. I also gotta go do the shrine quests, whatever that is. Let me tell you, I know what it all is now. I figured it out between looking at stuff you sent me and putting 2 and 2 together. I found the shrine in the South Providence immediately. One of the first things I saw was this big purple door. I walked over to it. I don't know what this thing is. I found 2 purple stakes in the ground. I'm like, I don't know what these are. I'm gonna touch them. They disappear. It's like, okay, cool. I don't know what's going on. They must be connected
I don't know
somehow.
what I just did. I did a thing.
And then going to class explains what the shrines are. It explains what to do to, like, unlock the doors. And that's probably my biggest complaint, is the classes take forever. Do not skip your classes. I'm looking right at the camera at everybody that's playing the game. Do not put all your classes at the end. You will be sad.
I usually am.
You will spend probably an hour going through all your classes. I'll tell you this now. There's 6 classes and 2 tests. That's 8 times 7 for each class.
What?
You have to sit through 56 interactive cutscenes.
That sounds awful.
If you save them all till the end, it's much worse.
I mean, it still sounds pretty awful.
You get rewards for doing the tests. So it's 3 classes midterm, 3 classes final. And you get rewards for passing the finals and the midterm. Which all the cutscenes are 30 seconds to a minute and a half long, depending on how fast you press the A button and how fast you answer the question they ask.
Mm-hmm.
And the tests are pretty much covering everything you sit through the cutscenes for, so they're not hard. But and eventually, once speedrunners figure out, like, are they a locked pool of questions, it's going to be doop, 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 plug and play. It'll be easy peasy.
Yeah, I'm sure. I'm sure it'll be very simple at that point.
It's just, I sat there, I think, for 30 minutes because I had put off a bunch of classes.
What did we learn?
I was like, don't do it. That's why I'm warning people. Make sure you go to class. When it says new classes available, go do it. Don't go and do a whole storyline and then come back. A lot of the classes, I think, are tied specifically to the gym challenge.
Okay.
So the gym challenge progression means you unlock more classes.
Okay.
So if you're doing the gym challenge, the Victory Road storyline first, and you're doing your classes, it won't be that big a deal probably because it'll still be early on in the game for you. If you're kind of just spreading out and taking the sections of the map quadrant by quadrant by quadrant, it might feel like forever when you get a bunch of classes and then it's like, oh, well, now I have to go do this stuff. But that's like my one complaint about the game is just like going to class is boring for the most part. You learn stuff, like, for those that may not just maybe their first Pokemon game, there's actual like mechanics they talk about in the game and explain it really well. They talk about critical hit chance. They talk about shiny luck. They talk about mechanics in the game. They talk about auto battles and things like that. Like, the classes are useful to new players or people who are just not paying attention to the mechanics of the game. Like, I haven't seen anything past a 2-star Terra Raid adventure. I learned that there's a shield that pops up in 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7-star raids. But because I had never seen it, I didn't know what it was until I went to class and learned about it.
Huh.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're speaking essentially Spanish to me. I'm not gonna lie.
Yeah, you're nowhere even close. There's a languages class. You can go take that later.
Okay.
Be ready to speak Pokemon. I'll tell you that for free. But yeah, I think this game far exceeds like open world game expectations. There's a lot of things that could have went wrong with this game when it launched, and having a few graphical errors and an occasional crash is not a big deal.
But Carl, there's a memory leak. This game is terrible.
It'll get fixed in a couple patches.
But Carl,
It'll get fixed in a couple patches.
People overcomplicate.
They expect perfection right out the gate. And
why, damn it, why isn't it perfect?
Exactly. Like, all games always have issues. Whether you notice them or not will determine the severity of the issue. Breath of the Wild had a lag problem on launch. You could get the game to lag by spawning chickens. You could get the game to you could get the game to eventually crash because you cut enough trees down and had so much wood lying around, the game just froze and broke. Like, these open world games are the most notorious for like weird bugs and issues because there's so much to try and focus on to get the game running that something always slips through the cracks. A memory leak's no big deal. It'll get fixed. It literally is just like a couple lines here, a couple lines there. Oh, now the sprites completely delete themselves instead of being saved on the backside to respawn and use later. That's all it is.
Oh, man. People like to overreact. Who knew?
Yep, that's... People like knee-jerk reactions. That's how it works.
Who knew?
So what have you been up to?
So I've been playing... Yeah, I've been playing a ton of Showdown. So I've sent you, it looks like 4 different teams here.
Yeah.
3 are full teams, 2 of which I think are good. And then the 4th one is just like a proof of concept that I really want to like work on, and I need to finish like ironing out.
Yeah.
So the first team I sent you was the first team I built, which is based on Palmot's new signature attack, which is like Revival Herb.
Double shot?
No. Revival Blessing. Which, like, the idea is, like, you get to revive, one of your Pokemon once a game, and it seems really powerful. Only for it to not be working on Showdown. So I'm like, well, this thing still seems really good with, like, base 115 attack, base 115 speed.
Yeah.
You have access to Fake Out Nuzzle, and now you have, like, additional stab in, like, close combat. So it's, like, Raichu, but, like, probably maybe better, because you also have access to Volt Absorb, so...
Yeah.
I don't know, it seems good. So then, like, I'm like, well, obviously I can't play, Revival Blessing like I want, so instead I'll just play, like, Double Shock, which is just, like, Burn Up. Is that right? Is it Burn Up?
What are you trying? I don't know what Double Shock does. You have to explain what Double Shock does.
Double Shock is base 120 electric attack that you then lose your electric typing.
Yeah, that's Burn Up. Yep.
Okay. Could not remember what the move was called. But yeah, it's really powerful. It's just like, extra big damage. Why not?
Yeah.
And so it's been like fine. It was really cool. And so then like the next part was like, ooh, I really want to play with Defiant Annihilate because this seems really powerful too. And with Choice Scarf, you're able to outspeed a ton of different things. So as a result, this seems really powerful. Mm-hmm. And I'm like, ooh, then we can put this next to like one of the legendaries that like have the ability to lower a stat. So then it'll trigger Defiant. But only to come to find out that that's not how that works.
Nope. Which fun fact, you couldn't trigger your own Defiant anyway. So
I realized that after playing it. I'm like, oh, that seems really bad. But like Annihilate still has access to Defiant. And like with the Scarf, you're able to outspeed a ton of different things. Low sweep, so you have like a form of speed control. And then just like 3 other really good attacks. Mm-hmm. I don't think it has access to a way of like pivoting. I could be wrong about that, but I don't think it has a way of pivoting.
I don't remember if Primeape had access to U-turn or not before. Primeape has access to U-turn according to the game.
Sure, perfect.
So that's your way of pivoting.
Okay, so yeah, you could probably play Earthquake over probably like Low Sweep you could play U-turn over like Low Sweep.
Yeah.
But I like the idea of having this just additional way of dealing extra damage. So I don't know. I could take it or leave it.
Yeah.
So then it was like, ooh, now we can play like I really wanted to play with Brute Bonnet because I think this thing seems really cool. So I'm like, what's the best way of doing that? So like probably want a Trick Room mode because originally I was playing one of the legendaries that has like it lowers your special attack, I think, and it's really slow. So I'm like, ooh, this will work out perfect because then I'll just not really care about this and like I'll lose my special attack, which doesn't really matter. But I think that one is also like absurdly slow. So like having access to Trick Room was really cool. So like that's where the Bronzong, Brute, Bonnet, Torkoal mode came in. And then from there it's just like, alright, so this doesn't work like I want it to. Let's cut that and play Golden Go. Which has been very, very good. This thing has really impressed me. The ability Gold is Gold, making it where you are immune to status moves is really powerful. Which like I feel like I don't need to really explain why that's really powerful.
Yeah. It's good. We just take our word for it. It's good.
And so like giving it access to good special defense things, assault vest is like fine, and like you're fairly fast with, I don't remember our base speed. Give me 2 seconds, I can tell you our base speed. Base 84, so like not terrible. Special attack of 133 is really good. And then like your bulk is 87, 95, 91. So with an assault vest, you're actually pretty bulky.
Yeah. Currently looking at other Pokemon, just kind of like getting an idea of things. Arbolivia seems cool.
One more time, I'm sorry.
Arbolivia.
Is that the...
It's the final form of Smoliv, I think. Has the ability Seed Sower.
Yes. Which is really cool because anytime you take damage, you set up grassy terrain.
Mm-hmm.
Which is really cool. So this is where I started. This team felt fine for a minute. What it really showed me is that like Torkoal is very powerful in this format, especially being able to be a photosynthesis, like being able to abuse photosynthesis next to Torkoal is very powerful.
Yeah.
Which we will get back to shortly.
Yeah.
I think Torkoal is very, very powerful, especially if people are trying to play like Pelipper and doing like rain things with it, which I've seen quite a bit of. Which we'll also kind of get to. Like I've seen Palafan plus Torkoal. It's just like, all right, cool. We're gonna flip turn and do 1,000,000,000%, and then come back out and do 1,000,000,000% later too.
Yeah.
So like that's something I've seen a lot of, and there's a lot of hail going around as well, which I guess isn't hail anymore. It's snowstorm.
Snowscape. Yeah.
Yeah. So like people are running around playing Abomasnow, and it's just like, yeah, let's take away your weather so you can't set up Aurora Veil. And I honestly think like Abomasnow has been a Pokemon that's been kind of okay. Being able to remove your 4x weakness is really powerful. Being able to boost your defense is also very good.
Yeah,
and this is all before you factor in like any of the like Slush Rush abusers. Like Snowscape was a very good buff for like the ice type as a whole.
Yeah, they did
it's
a
something
very good
I think
job
it
with it.
really needed. Agreed. So like that's where I started. It felt fine. I played quite a few games with it, and then I saw it might have been Pokeaim was talking about, it was either Pokeaim or Blunder was talking about how Skeleturge seems really cool. And I'm like, yeah, that does seem really cool.
Yeah.
So that's where like the next team started was, I want to play with my Fuecoco.
I want to play with my starter.
Like,
Understandable.
Because all three of the starters are very relevant when it comes to like competitive play in this generation as well.
Yeah.
All three have very, very good abilities.
Quaxcaval.
Yes. Gives access to Moxie, being water fighting type is very good.
Base 120 attack stat.
And has access to bulk up, which is like not the worst thing. 85, 80, 75 on your bulk is like not great.
You're not meant to be bulky though. You're an attacker, 100%.
Yeah, I believe you can play this next to like Kilowattrel and have access to Tailwind, and then you're just like absurdly powerful.
Yeah.
Because like then your base 85 speed looks very useful.
Oh, that's the other thing I wanted to remember from the game. Is like I saw Tailwind was a TM, and I got very, very excited.
Yeah, there's been a lot of really, really powerful Tailwind setters. I've seen like Salamence has access to it, and therefore Roaring Moon has access to it.
Altaria gets access to it now. That's like an anti like weather thing you can do. Dunsparce gets it for some reason.
Braviary, Corviknight, Dragonite, which I did not know. Flamigo, Honchkrow, which like we already knew about. Hydreigon gets it. Yeah, Hydreigon and Iron Jugulis gets it, which are both really, really sick.
Volcarona gets Tailwind?
Mm-hmm.
Oh my goodness, don't tell me that. We're going to be goofing around with that later.
So yeah, there's a lot of very useful flying types that get access to it. And then, for like monotype draft leagues, if that's something that's running around, there's quite a few other types that also get access to it. Like ignoring secondary typing of part flying. So, the fact that like
even
Scizor,
water has it. That's cool.
Yeah, because of Lumineon. But like Ice has access to it from multiple different Pokemon. Does Iron Bundle not have access to it?
Iron Bundle? I don't think so.
It does not, which is weird because that's like one of the few like move differences I've seen between
both Iron Bundle and Iron Moth don't get it.
Okay. Does the other Volcarona form get it?
Volcarona normal does. I don't know about Volcarona's Protosynthesis. I don't even remember what it's called. What's the scary Volcarona called? Because it looks like it reminds me more of Mothra.
Slitherwing.
Yeah, that thing.
It does not.
I don't think it does.
Only Protosynthesis Pokemon that gets it is Roaring Moon.
And then Iron Jugulis is the only Iron Pokemon that gets it.
Interesting. So, and then talking about the other starters, you have Quavical, Quackavol.
There you go.
Quackavol. And then you have Meowscarada.
Yeah, like Masquerade.
Yes.
Meowscarada.
Gets access to Protean, which is very good as well. It has been nerfed to where it only triggers on the first attack you use every time you come out, which is still fine because you have access to U-turn on this thing, and it's also one of the few Pokemon that gets access to knockoff, which is going to be very relevant as well. Mm-hmm. So the fact that you can just like Choice Scarf up with this thing and be able to outpace basically everything except for like Scarf, Dragapult, and Electrode. Being base 123, you're able to outspeed quite a few things. And then you also have access to its signature move of Flower Trick, which always crits and never misses. So it's like Wicked Blow, except it can't miss as well.
Yeah.
And it doesn't go through Protect, but that's more of an Urshifu problem, not a Wicked Blow problem. But this thing's also very, very good. I played with it quite a bit. And so that led me to wanting to play with the Dirge. And this thing is sick. The real reason I wanted to play with it is because its signature attack of Torch Song is insane.
Yeah, as someone who got to see that a lot in their playthrough, it's nuts.
It is a base 80 power fire special move that 100% of the time raises your special attack.
You know how Fiery Dance was a decent move, like on Volcarona?
Yeah.
Yeah, let's just make it 100%, and it's actually decent.
And now, mind you, this is on a base special attack of 110. So
even better.
Yeah, it's very, very useful. Your bulk is good. You have 104, 175. The downside is your speed is 66. So you need some kind of speed control to really make this beneficial.
Yeah.
So that led to wanting to build around that a little bit, and it was really just more of this thing's a very good fire type. Let's build our fire, water, grass core. So we have Skeledirge, we have Amoonguss, which is like, pretty typical. And then I wanted to play with Palafin, which I think is absolutely insanely busted in like every sense of the word. I think this thing is insane.
Explain how Palafin works, because I haven't seen it in game yet.
Okay, so Palafin has the ability 0 to Hero, which says whenever it switches out, the next time it would come out, it changes forms. So, it goes from base 457 BST to 650.
So it kind of pulls a wishy-washy kind of thing.
Yes. You go from base 70 attack to a base attack of 160. And then your special attack doubles from 53 to 106. And you get more defense, more special defense.
Cool. Just don't get forced out.
Yeah, this thing's very, very good. And, like, it's really easy to set up because it gets access to flip turn.
Yeah.
So it's just like, all right, cool. So I'm base 100 speed. With Scarf, I'm able to outspeed basically everything and still be able to be adamant to be able to punch everything as hard as I want. So I had Specky Titan and I were working on this quite a bit. They are absolutely in love with this Pokemon. And, like, I understand why. I had been working on this before we started working on it together. And that's when we really started working on, like speed calcs and everything else. And you're able to, because you're base 100, you're able to outspeed Dragapult with Scarf and still be able to just, like, fully invest into attack and be able to punch things even harder.
Mm-hmm.
And with, like, Dragapult being the fastest relevant threat, it seems like a very good place to be.
Yeah.
You also have access to Wave Crash, which is water type double edge, which is just very good. You get access to Drain Punch, so, like, you're able to just recover HP.
Yeah, you're able to sustain.
And then you have access to Ice Punch as well, which really helps you just really threaten all the dragon types. So being able to, like, Terra type into water and then just Wave Crash people is just absurd. Or just, like, turn 1, go for Fake Out into one of their Pokemon, Terra Water into Flip Turn their other one, potentially pick up a KO because it's still coming off of, a base 70 attack, so it's, like, not terrible.
Mm-hmm.
And then, have this in the back for future game plan is awesome. Palafin is absolutely insane. I'm very excited for you to play with this thing so you can see how good it is.
Yeah, I'm excited to play with it.
So then that was the Fire, Water, Grass core. So I'm like, all right, I need a fantasy core. I've played against, like, this multi-scale Dragon Dance Lefties Dragonite a couple different times that Terras into normal for, like, extra power E-speeds. I'm like, that seems really cool. I want to try that.
Yeah.
And so I played with it, and this is, like I said, the second team I built. The third iteration of teams I've built swapped this for Inner Focus plus Choice Band. So then you're just able to just, like, punch everything.
Intimidate, don't care, gonna punch you.
Yeah. You're immune to Intimidate, and then, like, you're because you now have access to Choice Band, you don't need Dragon Dance because you're doing the same amount of damage.
Yeah.
Is the idea behind it. And it just punches people. It's very, very good.
Neat.
So that's the Dragon type. So now we need a Fairy and a Steel type. How convenient. Grimmsnarl is a Fairy type that's very, very good. This is just like... So, this is just like... I took the Grimmsnarl that Angelo played with. It's just like double speed control. And then we slapped on Parting Shot because it gets access to that now.
Yeah.
So it's just like, all right, Trick one threat, Thunder Wave another threat, Parting Shot out your third threat.
It's time to get out.
It's very, very good. It has been a ton of fun. I would like to go on record and apologize to everyone I've ever harmed because because of my hatred towards Grimmsnarl. I am repenting.
Have you heard? He loves it now. I got him converted, finally.
I'm repenting all of my previous sins. I am now a Grimmsnarl stan.
Good. It's how it should have been back in Sword and Shield.
So that's my Fairies type, and so I'm like, oh, there's probably some really cool Steel types in this generation, which led me to finding Tinkaton.
Yeah, Tinkaton's cool.
It's really cool. It's another Fairy type, so like, leaning a little heavy into, I guess not really. Double Fairy is kind of fine here.
Yeah.
Not a ton of overlapping weaknesses in all actuality. But yeah, again, it's just very, very good. Mm-hmm. We have access to Mold Breaker. Base 75 attack is fine. Base 94 speed's really good. Your bulk of 85, 77, 105 is awesome. So I'm like, hey, let's slap an Assault Vest on this thing and make people miserable. Also, we get access to Fake Out. Hooray!
Hooray! Yeah, Fake Out's really good. Did you know that?
And then it has a signature attack called Gigaton Hammer, which is a base 160 Steel type move.
I know all about this one.
The downside being it can't use it the next turn.
Yeah, I know all about this one.
Oh no! Instead, I had to punch you with something else, which this thing also gets access to knockoff.
Yeah.
So
I'm a Gigaton Hammer you, then I'm gonna take your item, and then I'm gonna hit you with the hammer again.
It's really fun. You're pretty physically frail if you are running this Assault Vest set, which I also don't know if you need like all of this speed. I am jolly max attack, max speed. And I'm I'm just throwing things on and seeing what sticks at this point, hoping that we will get more optimized as we play.
Yeah.
But that's not where I'm at right now. I'm currently at the stage of I want to play with the new things to see what's good, and therefore I need to figure out what I want to work on. So it's just a lot of like playing with new things, playing with all the shiny new toys, and figuring out what I like.
Yep.
Which leads me to my current favorite thing I'm doing, and it's absolutely bananas, and I'm so glad that this thing exists because it's stupid. So
This is the Donzo Tatsugiri combo, isn't it?
Yes, it is insane. The number of people that I've just like led these to and then just 6-0'd them is absurd. So
I can see it.
For those who are unaware of what's going on here, Donzo is a absurdly bulky water type.
It's like
Donzo.
Base 150 HP or something like that.
It's 150, 100, 115, 65, 65, 35. Okay? So, like, really good stats.
Yeah.
You're absurdly physically bulky. Your HP pool is absurd. You have access to 3 good abilities and Unaware, Oblivious, Water Veil. Yeah. Then you have access to Tatsugiri, which is a Water Dragon type with... let's see, 68, 50, 60, 120, 95, 82. Yeah. So, like, again, pretty good. Also has access to Storm Drain. That's not how we're playing it. No. It has this ability called Commander, which is insane. So, if you have Donzo and Tatsugiri out on the field at the same time, Tatsugiri goes into Donzo, I guess? I haven't seen this in game.
Tatsugiri.
Yeah, I haven't seen how this works in game, but on Showdown, it just sits there.
Yeah.
So what happens is Tatsugiri is now immune to all attacks. It can take damage from like status conditions and like Leech Seed if it has those affected to it before it's like
before
before it gets eaten. And the upside to this is Donzo gets +2 in all of its stats.
So, what I'm hearing is you get to essentially Voltron Dondozo. Cool. Good story.
So, here's the best part. There's also the other downside of you can't swap out when you do this. Dondozo is either going to win you the game or die. There's no in between. You cannot do anything else. It is a 1v2. It is a 1v2 where you're at +2 on all of your stats. You have unaware, so you can't take, they can't set up on you to try to sweep.
Yeah.
And you can set up on them more because you have an attack called Order Up, which boosts one of your stats based on Tatsugiri's type. Based on its form.
I can talk about Tatsugiri here. They're all different colors. So there's an orange one, a pink one, and a yellow one.
So the orange one boosts your attack, the pink one boosts your defense, and the yellow one boosts your speed.
Neat.
I've been playing with
the
orange one because boosting your attack is just obviously very good because then you are able to just you take every hit that your opponent is dishing out at you anyway.
Sweep harder with attack rather than speed.
But speed is the other one I'm really interested in because the downside to Dondozo is your base 35 speed, which even at +2 is not a lot. You're gonna get outsped by a lot of things. But that's kind of fine because you just shrug off every hit.
Yeah.
And, I'm playing lefties on mine, so it's just oh no, you did 7% to me.
Oh no. Yeah. Oh darn.
Would be a real shame if something happened to you. So then I've been playing this as Terra Dragon because
Order Up boosts.
Not only is it Order Up boost, but you're now resistant to everything that water is weak to.
Yeah.
So this combination is just so absurd, and I'm very excited to play this for laddering this week. Just I'm sure you're gonna have some stupid awesome thumbnail for it, and I'm gonna be so excited.
I'm gonna go dig up Dondozo's Titan fight. I'm gonna go dig that up because it's a good one. If you haven't, when you get, you'll be very pleasantly surprised when you get to the False Dragon Titan challenge.
So, talking to Spack about this, I'm man, I just cannot figure out how to beat this. And I've always said, especially when we were playing Magic and everything, the best way to learn how to beat something is to play it and realize what you're losing to, right?
Yeah.
So that's why I went down this Magic rabbit hole. And something they suggested was Flower Trick Meowscarada, right? Because you always crit, so you get to ignore their boosts. I sent them a screenshot of an opposing Meowscarada hitting me with Flower Trick and doing 12%.
Goodness. Oh my goodness. So it's not the end all be all that we thought it was going to be, huh?
Well, specifically because I Terra Dragon.
Yeah.
So it's a resisted hit at that point.
Yeah, there's.
And on top of that, it's still a base 110 defense.
Yeah, you're still really good defense, really good HP. It has to be something special hitting you on the special side to deal significant damage to you. And it also has to ignore the fact that you're +2 in all your stats.
So, things that I've had trouble with are, Fluttermane, because it has a base 115 special attack.
Mm-hmm.
And obviously it's always going to outspeed you as well.
Yeah.
It's it just clicking D-Gleam's just ow, please stop.
Quit.
Let's see. There's also Sandy Shocks, which has a base 121, but if they don't one-shot you, you're going to one-shot them because you have access to, Earthquake or Waterfall
or things to hit it with super effective damage. Or...
Yeah, exactly. So, as long as they're not Terra typing into something that, resists those hits, you're probably easily able to pick up KOs there. But yeah, this thing's absolutely absurd. and like the rest of the team's just kind of whatever. We have more Golden Go, we have more Dragonite, we have more Grimmsnarl, we have Meowscarada here. So it's just like, hey, take all the good parts of every other team and slap them onto this one with this absurd combo.
Yeah, seems really good.
It's been fun. I'm very excited to like continue to work on this and to optimize it, because I legitimately think that like not enough people are going to be prepared for this in like the early days, and this is just going to lead to like very easy laddering.
Yeah, you're just gonna, here's my combo. What can you do to beat my combo?
Like, do you have Haze? Because Haze isn't even always good enough because I just have Order Up to boost my attack more.
Yeah, you just redo it.
Granted, I'm losing my like defense boosts, but oh well.
Yeah.
I do want to try this on like a Trick Room shell as well, which actually leads me to the next team. Because conveniently I'm missing two members of a team here, and I think they could actually work.
I'm about to say, that's probably a pretty good, just like, let's just slot this in here and see how this goes.
Yeah, I mean, like, legitimately, it just, I don't know if it's one of those things that you just, like, slap it on everything. It's obviously not Ensign. It takes up 2 team slots, but, like, Tatsugiri on its own is also not a terrible Pokemon.
Yeah.
Like, you have access to Icy Wind, you have access to Chilling Water, which is a base 50 special water move that lowers their attack.
Yep.
So, like, that's really good. Icy Wind is obviously very good. And you still have just, like, Dragon Pulse's stab, too. So, like, it's not terrible on its own.
Yeah.
So this last team, this one I have not played any games with because it is still just, like, in concept mode. But Slowking has a new, like, signature attack called Chilly Reception, which sets, Snowstorm.
Yep.
Right? Is that what it's called?
It's called Snowscape, but yeah.
Close enough. It sets fake hail.
It sets snow.
And it teleports you out.
Yep.
So this is something that Joey and Blunder did this week in singles. It's like, all right, Titan's really good. This thing has access to Belly Drum. Let's do that. I'm not doing that because I want to, try to succeed here.
Yeah, you want to actually do something. And Belly Drum is not it.
So, like, Slowking seems really, really interesting. You have access to Chilly Reception. You have access to Trick Room. So, like, there's 2 very good things there are, like, critical to team building, right? Mm-hmm. You have a form of speed control in multiple forms. Like, Chilly Reception is going to boost your Titan while also bringing it in safely because it's not negative priority like Trick Room is or like Teleport is, but you're also so slow because you're a Slowking.
Yeah,
so,
you're likely going to move last unless someone is using less priority than you.
So, yeah, it works out fine. So Titan has access to Slush Rush and a base attack of 113, so you're able to just really dish out a ton of damage.
Yep. And
with the defense boost that you're getting from Snow now, it takes your 65 defense up to like 90.
Not bad.
Granted, rough numbers, but it is what it is. Base 73 speed with Slush Rush means you can outpace Dragapult as well. So, like, again, one of the biggest threats right there, you're just able to outpace.
Yeah.
So, like, then it's like, okay, we also have Trick Room. What can we do with that? And I think, like, the best Trick Room sweeper right now is Torkoal. Which, like, sure, you're taking away your Snow, but, like, you also have the other half of your team here of doing sun things, which then sets you up to do photosynthesis things. So, like, there's a lot of really intricate pieces that all work really well together here. Mm-hmm. And my big concern is this is a, like, doubles OU team and not a VGC team. Because, like, all the pieces fit really well together when you have access to 6 Pokemon.
Yeah.
So, like, it really just... I want this to be like the Sunroom teams that popped up in, like, Series 3, and I'm not sure if we're there. Because, like, we have a fast mode, but, like, we don't have a fast mode on our Sun, per se. Like, we have Roaring Moon, which you are able to get a speed boost with, which then puts it up to let's see, if we're doing level 50, 188 at +1.
That's not bad.
Yeah, 282. So like that's pretty okay.
Mm-hmm.
And then you can slap on like choice band here so that like you're able to also get your attack boost essentially. You also have just like really good moves, and like crunch, you have access to like dragon claw if you want dragon coverage. You can terra type into steel to resist fairy hit, to be able to then iron head fairies off of the face of the earth. I'm not sure if that's the way you want to go, or if you want to be something that like resists fairy. You could turn into like fire, which then you can have like Terra Blast and like Terra Blast people in the sun thanks to Torkoal.
Yeah.
It's like that's not terrible. You have obviously access to U-turn as well, so you're able to like pivot in and out. So like I think these four on paper look really good together. I think you could also slap on like Lilligant here, because like Lilligant Torkoal seems really powerful as well, especially with like Terra type fire Torkoal just means like your eruptions are going to do 1,000,000,000% to everything, including resists. So I don't know. There's a lot of really, really interesting things that work here.
Mm-hmm.
And with playing exactly 0 games with this team, it seems really cool on paper.
Yeah. There's a lot of cool things that you could be doing. My thought process here is like, if you find a way to set your trick room that isn't necessarily trying to do this Slow King's a Titan thing, you could slot Lilligant into this team. You could then slot your Dodonzo and your Tatsugiri into this team pretty easily. And you'll have like this really good slow mode with Torkoal and Trick Room, or you could have multiple fast modes with Roaring Moon or Lilligant, and kind of play to that. I'm either like Roaring Moon's essentially your Charizard in this situation. You could either make it super fast and have Choice Band on it, or you could put Choice Scarf on it and have it get its attack stat, whichever one you want.
The other side of this is you can also play Brute Bonnet, which gets you get access to Rage Powder, so then you're more easily able to get up your Trick Room with Slow King. Or, you know, Chilly Reception and, like, make sure that you live your hit. So then you can go into Titan that way as well. Which, like, if you're doing that, you could potentially run Belly Drum on it. I don't love that, but you could.
Yeah.
There's a lot of really cool things about this. And
this format is so exciting. Like, there's so many unique things that this format gets to do. And when we get the actual VGC rules, it'll determine like how we play, because they may not let us have the Roaring Moon and the Iron Mons and things like that at the start, right?
Yeah, who knows?
We may not get access to that stuff. We might. Who knows? But for right now, just looking through it, like, I think a lot of the Protosynthesis Mons are a lot of potential. There's a lot of potential there. Mainly just due to the fact that Torkoal is a decent Pokemon in this game. Unfortunately, we don't have anything like Tapu Koko that actually is like a decent electric terrain setter right now.
We have Miraidon.
Can't play with that one.
Oh no, what a shame. I don't have to play a restricted format.
Yeah.
Can you tell I'm upset?
And I think that's where a lot of the power is going to lie, is teams that are built around Torkoal using Protosynthesis, and then teams that are probably doing this Dondozo thing with Tatsugiri and are kind of playing to that combo, getting that set up to where it can win. And then there might be teams like using Slay King. I've seen people try and talk about that for a little bit. There's ways to get around that. I think because Grafaiai has Prankster, I think Grafaiai gets Gastro Acid.
It gets access to Doodle.
Doodle. It has Doodle, that's right. Doodle overwrites the abilities of both, right?
Correct.
Which it is a status move, so that it gives access to that. So that's how it does that then. So yeah, you could do like Grafai, Prankster with Doodle, and Slaking.
Yeah.
Build your own Regigigas. Grafai also gets access to Switcheroo, so you can still do your speed control things. As long as
it also
you're
gets
not in the dark side.
Prankster. I mean, it also gets Parting Shot.
Maybe that's why they ended up giving it to Grimmsnarl.
I actually don't know how Grimmsnarl gets access to it.
That might be why they gave it to it, because if this has a Parting Shot, then it's just like, why can't Grimmsnarl have it?
See, Grafai gets it through breeding with Smeargle.
Wait, what?
Yeah. No, I lied. It gets it from breeding with a Lowland Meowth or a Lowland Persian, which I believe gets it through...
They get it normally.
No.
Well, no, like they get it normally. Like they're not a level up Pokemon, but they get it. They get access to it.
Do they?
Alola Meowth and Persian, yeah.
Yeah, but they only get it through breeding in this game as well, which they get it through Sketch.
I have one on Sword and Shield that has it.
I'm just telling you what Cerebi says, man.
But anywho, we don't currently have access to Alola Meowth and Persian as I'm aware of yet. Those will come in via home, I believe, because they are a transfer mon. I know you get access to the Galarian Meowth through the school, because I have one now.
So it says there is a level up learn set for Galarian. I mean, for Alolan.
Yeah.
Yeah, it only gets it through breeding in this game. It doesn't get it through level up.
Well, yeah, you're not going to get one in this game, period.
Yeah, I mean, as of now, so like...
You have to transfer them in anyway.
So as a result, you can't get Parting Shot on Grafai?
I would believe that's how that works.
That's how that works, right?
Yep.
So how does Grimmsnarl get it?
I don't know.
It also gets it through Egg Move. Fun fact, it's the only Egg Move it gets.
That's weird.
Which, it doesn't have a parent that can give it to it?
You have to give him time, because part of it is that Cerebi's not fully up to date. There's so many things that he has to do, because he's constantly updating that site. I don't think he's done yet. It's only been out for a couple days.
Yeah, I don't know. But
so
he had a lot of stuff on day one. I'll tell you that one for free.
Yeah, because he had the games early. So
true.
He was able to kind of stockpile some of this stuff early, but now he's going through. It just takes some time to update the games, put everything in, and do all that stuff.
So let's see. If we go here, if we go to Gen 9 and look at Parting Shot, Pokemon that get access to it, we have Obstagoon Line.
In Gen 9?
I'm in Gen 9, yeah. So there's... The only Pokemon that learns it naturally in this game is Bombardier.
Bombardier. That's a dark flying bird.
With rocky payload.
Yeah. It's an interesting Pokemon.
It is a Pokemon that exists, yes.
It's essentially Steel Worker.
Yes, but for rock type.
But for rock. So you're essentially triple type.
Yes. Which, I mean, it has access to Rock Slide. It also has a base speed of 82, so like not terrible.
Yeah.
You get access to Sucker Punch and Roost as
Stone
well.
Edge, Rock Slide, Tailwind.
Oh, are we a Tailwind bond?
It says it on here, so.
Did I just say that?
I don't know.
No, that's through TM. I was looking at
Tailwind's TM.
I was looking at egg moves, and it's again a Pokemon that gets access to knockoff. So like,
I feel like they brought a lot of that back.
So a big part of it is like, it's no longer a TM. So a lot of Pokemon lose access to it,
Mm-hmm.
and because the way that this works for like transferring Pokemon in, which obviously we don't know exactly yet, but I believe like data miners have determined that like when Pokemon are transferred in from home, they lose moves that they no longer get access to. Like immediately, it just deletes them.
Well, that'll be easier to manage then.
Correct. So for Pokemon that like, you know, had access to knockoff of previous generations, it meant that like if you're able to transfer them in with said move, it was still a viable move for singles.
Yeah.
So it still had it in its learn set for singles, but that is no longer going to be true. So I don't know. It doesn't really affect me. I like watching singles content, but you know, I have a new format to go play. So
yeah, we got VGC to go play. Speaking of, it's about time to get out of here, bub.
I agree. I have dinner waiting on me. So
Yes, you do.
I have dinner and bed. So
I'm excited.
Yeah.
This is like a whole new, like it's a whole new frontier for Pokemon. We get to explore so much new stuff.
It's gonna be awesome. So that is going to be it for today, everyone. Thank you so much for watching. Like, comment, and subscribe if you're listening over on YouTube. Otherwise, go ahead and, you know, leave us a 5-star review. Hit the subscribe button on all the audio platforms, all that good stuff. It really does help us push us against the algorithm. Past that, you can always go follow us on Twitter at LR Lessons, myself at Mr. Missouri25, Carl is at Musical VGC. You can find Carl and I both on Twitch. Carl's been streaming more on YouTube anyway, but you know, he's still over there at Musical, myself at Mr. Missouri25. And let's see, you can come and join the community Discord where you get to hang out with us, talk about the games, and you know, start your team building process if you're that far into it already.
Yep. There's people itching to start that process.
Correct. And you know, I've been talking to a few. I've been working on it. It's been fun. So yeah, I'm very excited.
Now that I beat the game, I can participate.
Correct. So get to it. And as always, you can go ahead and check out the website. Check out all the stuff we have up on there. Go ahead and check out the merch page while you're there. Pick up a sweet, you know, t-shirt or cups or hat or whatever else tickles your fancy. And, you know, if you don't want to support us through content, if you don't want to support us through merch but still want to be able to support us financially, you can always do that over on Anchor for as little as 20 or 25 cents an episode. It really does help us out a ton.
Yep.
I think that's it.
That's it. A wrap on our first official Scarlet and Violet episode.
Of course. And that is going to be it for today, everyone. Thank you so much as always. And until next week, have a good one. Peace.